Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to another episode of Headlines with Amr. Today is Friday, March 7th. Let's jump right into it. We are talking about Iran and everything happening there and in surrounding areas. And I want to jump right in with this idea of complexity. I'm hearing this a lot in the media that everything happening in Iran, you gotta understand it's complex, it's very complicated. We don't really know. And it's like, yes, if you wanna know, you'll know. Because you seem to know everything about what's going on with the Guthries. And frankly, I'm having trouble following that one. Is there one of them? Is there two of them? And yet you're also the people who got Barack Obama mixed up with Osama bin Laden. Whew, big yikes there. I don't think people have atoned for that properly, but I want to jump into this idea of complexity in Iran today, and I want to sincerely think about it with you all. And before we do that, we're gonna be doing this through the prism of the killing of Ayatollah Khameini last weekend by the U.S. and Israel. And I just want to say it's really fucking crazy to kill a head of state while you're in negotiations with their government. Like, could you imagine if you and your partner had been together since, I don't know, 1989, and it's been dysfunctional the whole time? Like, you guys just can't get along, and you keep trying therapy and trying therapy and trying therapy and trying therapy, and then you try the therapy to end all therapies, and during it, you kill them. Divorce them. Makes more sense in this analogy, but I love drama. But let's get into the complexity thing. And again, we want to talk about the killing of Ayatollah Khameini and think of it that way. And think about the reactions that we saw, right? Because Iranians who have been the victims of this disgusting, nasty, theocratic, cannot overstate how brutal of a regime this is. Mostly were celebrating, right? And yet they were celebrating in spite of the fact that the people who killed that Khamenei are the same people who are responsible for getting him into power through meddling in the country and creating vacuums and colonialism and corruption and etc. And they're the ones who hold all the cards. And right before they killed him, they killed all those children in that school, which seems to be something that the Israeli government is a big fan of. And so that's complex. I understand that. And then if you're a Palestinian right now, so I think about the desperation of the Iranian people, the very real understandable desperation that would make them celebrate this event despite what I just explained. And I also think on the other side about the desperation of ordinary Palestinians who maybe they don't like the Iranian government for the same reason I don't or we don't, and yet they were so desperate for visibility. The fact that Palestinians, their struggle was so disregarded that these people at least were talking about them, right? So that their reaction was probably very different, a lot of them. Nobody is homogenous. And then at the same time, you get the ethnic cleansers of Palestine are working with the guy who thinks it's okay to kill Alex Preddy and Renee Good in plain view in the middle of the day, are all about Iranian human rights all of a sudden. And then the MAGA guys, like a bunch of them, who've said things like they've described Iraqis as semi-illiterate primitive monkeys. They're not really big fans of Arabs or Muslims, but they are very much against this war, and they've spoken out against what Israel is doing in Palestine. So, and then of course, there's this guy. This guy is so happy right now. This guy is laughing. This guy got everything he wanted by lying. And no one was listening to him when he was lying before, when he was rolling up to the UN with a fucking bomb he drew himself. Like, oh, watch out, they're gonna bomb us. But now people are listening to him and he's gonna do every fucking thing he wants. He's in Lebanon for some reason, just killing a shit ton of people, stealing a bunch of land. There's nothing complex about that guy. And then the rest of us all out here legitimizing this white supremacist convicted felon regime because we need information from someone, right? So we're like, wow, let's see what this fucking loser honestly has to say, talking about this like it's a fucking board game. I'm giving him too much credit. I doubt he knows anything about board games. Now, fine. So it's a little complex, but I only think it's complex really because of the tribalism at play. People want us to be on certain teams. They want the Iranian people to be a monolith. They want Palestinians to be a monolith. They want MAGA to be a monolith. And I really try, especially in recent years, the only thing I try to be monolithic about is my values. The only thing I have blind loyalty to is fuck all authoritarians, King Charles to Ayatollah Khameini, and equal rights for everyone. Trans kids in Ohio to kids in Gaza. And I feel like all my life, everyone's been telling me that that's complex or that that's unrealistic and that I can't actually believe that. It won't work out that way. I should join one of these teams. Join one of these teams and be confused about how the country that's behind the ideology and the killers who did 9/11 are working alongside Israel in the United States right now. No fucking thank you, because you know what? Your issue is that that's unrealistic and impractical. Is it? I'm sorry, is it real? You seem to be a lot of the same people who seem to think that AI doing surgeries is realistic. You seem to think treating planet Earth like the floor at Chuck E. Cheese in 1994 so that we can go to Mars is realistic. You seem to think something like the World Humanoid Robot Games is realistic. The Department of Dumbassery masquerading as a Department of Efficiency is realistic. That this fucking loser presiding over the UN with her dumbass movie that no one gives a fuck about is realistic. By the way, I heard she's an illegal immigrant. Illegal. Yeah, that's not my term. That's you guys. Hansel of Hansel and Gretel lore being our vice president. Is that realistic? And of course, CNN, Paramount, HBO, and TikTok being owned by the same person. I can't see how that's realistic. And for the 100th time, there's nothing realistic about a candy bar latte Dunkin' Donuts. The whole world is fake, y'all. It's made up. These evil people in power who are such a slim minority of the entire 8 billion of us out there are running the fucking show, making things up. The stocks? Stocks aren't real, right? Maybe they're kind of real, but you get the point that I'm making. And they want us to think that it's unrealistic to be blindly loyal to a value set while they're doing all the unrealistic shit and keeping us distracted with the next candy bar latte coming out of Dunkin' Donuts. And honestly, if that's the case, if the world is fake, if it's all bullshit and this disgusting, inhumane stuff is happening all the time, I think it's quite realistic to just have something to believe in. And if that's impractical, fine. I know there's other people who feel the same way. So that's it for this week. Fuck authoritarians everywhere. Power to the people everywhere. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.